When you think of Elon Musk, you probably think of rockets, Mars, Tesla. But what if I told you his biggest, most ambitious project might be happening right here on Earth? He's not just building companies, he's engineering a dynasty. And we're going to get into it.
14. As of early 2026, that's the number of known children the world's richest man has fathered. Just let that sink in for a second. 14. It's a number that immediately makes you wonder.
Why? Why is the world's richest man building what looks a lot like a biological dynasty? Is this really about some grand mission to save us all? Or is it something else, something more personal? We're going to break it all down, the timeline, the drama, and the big ideas behind it all.
All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start with his core mission statement, then move through the key women in his life, the mothers of his children. We'll cover the early days, the chaotic years, the sci-fi names, the quiet second family, all the way to the final tally. Okay, first things first. To get inside Musk's head, you have to understand his number one fear. It's not AI, it's not climate change, it's population collapse. He's been saying for years that humanity not having enough babies is the single biggest threat to our future. And, well, he's apparently decided to solve that problem himself. So, where does this all begin? It starts with his first wife, the author Justine Wilson. Their relationship really sets the tone for everything that comes after. It was intense, and it gives us a big clue about the kind of dynamic he was looking to build.
Get this. According to Justine herself, in an essay she wrote for Marie Clair, Elon leaned over to her at their wedding reception and said, quote, "I am the alpha in this relationship." Wow. I mean, that tells you everything, right? This wasn't just a marriage. From day one, it was an empire with a king.
Now, their story starts with a terrible tragedy. Their first son, Nevada, died from SIDS when he was just 10 weeks old. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And Musk's reaction was, well, it was very Musk. He didn't want to leave anything to chance. They turned straight to IVF, and bam, in just 4 years they had 5 more kids, first twins, then triplets. But all that pressure, it took a toll. The marriage didn't survive, and they split up in 2008.
Fast forward a bunch of years, and a really public rift opens up. One of their twins, Xavier, files to legally change their name to Vivian Jenna Wilson, specifically taking her mother's last name. The court documents were clear. She wanted nothing to do with her biological father. And what was Musk's public response? He blamed it on what he calls the woke mind virus, taking over elite schools.
All right, so after Justine, things get chaotic. This next phase is full of these super high-profile, really volatile relationships. But interestingly, the whole dynasty-building project kind of hits pause. No kids during this period.
First up, you've got actress Talulah Riley. They married, divorced, got remarried, and divorced again. A real roller coaster. But no kids, and they're supposedly still friends. But then came Amber Heard. And that relationship, which lasted a couple of years, was described by his own brother as a nightmare. His biographer even said it sent Musk into demon mode. So yeah, not great. And if you want a taste of just how weird this period was, here's a story for you. Musk apparently told Amber Heard she looked like the character Mercy from the video game Overwatch. So what does she do? She spends 2 months getting a perfect costume made and then role-played as the character for him. And we know this is true because years later, Musk himself just casually posted the private photo on X. Just wild.
Okay, moving on. The Dynasty project kicks back into high gear in 2018. And it all started, believe it or not, with a nerdy joke on Twitter about AI. That's how he connected with the musician Grimes. This relationship would give him 3 more children and end in an absolutely bitter legal war. And of course, their kids became famous before they could even talk, thanks to those names. You've got X, AX Salai, or just X, who was born in 2020. Then came Exadarch Citadel, known as Y, born via surrogate near the end of 2021. And then surprise, a third child, Technomechanicus, or Tau, was born in secret around mid-2022.
But by 2023, the whole thing had just imploded. It turned into this nasty custody battle, with Musk suing Grimes in Texas, and her firing back with her own lawsuit in California. And you gotta understand, the state matters. A lot. Why? Because Texas law puts a much lower ceiling on child support payments compared to California. It's all about the money and jurisdiction.
But just when you think this story can't get any more complicated, it does. Because while all this drama with Grimes was playing out for the whole world to see, Elon was quietly starting a whole other family with one of his top executives.
Yeah, you heard that right. This wasn't after Grimes. This was happening during his relationship with Grimes.
So Elon Musk and Shivon Zilis, who's a director at his brain chip company Neuralink, had twins. Now, look at the date, November 2021. That is literally just a few weeks before his second child with Grimes, Y, was born. The timeline is just staggering. And it didn't stop there. They've since had 2 more kids. That makes 4 children with Shivon Zilis.
And the names with Shivon are just as thought out, just as revealing. Take Selden, for instance. That's almost certainly a nod to Hari Seldon from Isaac Asimov's sci-fi classic Foundation. You know, the guy who uses math to predict the future and save civilization from falling apart? Sounds a little familiar, doesn't it? It's basically his mission statement in a name.
So that brings us right up to today, to the most recent and maybe most messy chapter in this story, and a final count of his growing empire.
In 2024, a political influencer named Ashley St. Clair gave birth to a son, Romulus. And after a lot of speculation, a DNA test confirmed in early 2025 that, yep, Elon Musk was the father. That relationship has since gone south, and now there's a hostile paternity lawsuit in the mix.
Okay, so let's do the final math. We have 5 living children with his first wife, Justine, 3 children with Grimes, 4 children with his executive, Shivon Zilis, and 1 child with Ashley St. Clair. That's a grand total of 13 living heirs from 4 different women.
And that brings us right back to where we started. Is this all a noble mission to save humanity from extinction? A man putting his money and his DNA where his mouth is? Or is this the ultimate act of ego from a man who might just believe that the code to save the world is written in his own genes? What do you think?